Hey, how's it going, guys? The Guitar Gamer here. Got another lap guide for you. I apologize. I know I haven't been making guides as much here the last couple of weeks. We've been really struggling with bills here, so I've had a hard time balancing making YouTube videos and trying to work at the same time. So I do apologize about that. So we're gonna start out here. We're at Chicago Street Course in the ARCA car, and we're gonna come across the line here. So you're going to cross the line at about 128 mile per hour on your outlap. Okay, so for turn one, you can see there we're peaking at about 70, about 70%. So yeah, we're peaking at 70 just before these last two, that last two arrows here. You see we're down to third, down to second. We're at about 50% on the brakes when we shift down to second. And you can see as I'm ready to turn in, I drop it down to 20 and then trail it off. And then a little bit of throttle through the apex. Very patient on the throttle. Okay, we're going to take two. We're going to take in second gear. For brake markers, I use this light pole right after this last NASCAR sign. It's technically not the last, there's one down here, but the middle one. It's the last one you're going to pass on the left side. So that light pole there, we're peaking at about 62, trailing it down to about 10. And then right as we get through the apex, we're up to 33% throttle. Oh yeah, another important thing, my minimum speed for turn one is 53, 54 mile per hour. My minimum speed through two is 53 miles per hour. We're taking that one in second. So right here, this is going to be, you're going to take three at full throttle, and I like to be shifted into fourth before I make my turn in. And then just because you can see the rear end's trying to kick around on me right here. I mean, you can see we're pretty yawed out. See it kick around there, and I caught it right there. So you got to be really careful with that. When I pass the end of this black banner here is when I'm off the throttle. So drop the throttle, and then right before the 4 marker, up to about 45% on the brakes, then up to 55 when I got the wheel straight. So you can see here, drop the throttle, we still have the wheel turned to the right. So I only go up to 45%, and then once the wheel's straightened out, bam, we go up to 55. First downshift is going to be before we even get to our peak pressure. So you can see there. So about 45%, bam, down to second, down to third, then down to second. We're still at 55% on the brake. And then we're going to drop it off as we make our turn in. We're going to aim here for this, the end of this wall. Try not to drag too much. This right here, this entire section right here, before I got this time that I posted, this is where I was losing all of my time, and I was losing about a second and a half here. So you're going to go through here a lot faster than you think you are. You can see there, I mean, we're 70 mile per hour coming through 4, and then we're carrying a little bit of throttle as we go into 5, just to get a little bit of extra speed. There's not much here in the way of brake markers, but I say about a car length before the end of this Arby's banner. Just a little quick stab of 25%, 10% just to rotate the car. And then we're throttling pretty early there. You have to watch this wall because you've got a like an apex here. You've got a bend in the wall here. And if you're coming down this hill and you see right here and you come through here and you think you're going to make that apex, you're going to end up hitting that second side of the wall. See how you think the wall's over, and then bam, there's more. So you have to be really careful there. So right before this one, we're throttling out, second gear. So initially we go up to 30% on the throttle, and then up to 55, and then up to 70, and then 80, and then 100. This here's going to be probably the most difficult braking zone on this track. You can push it a little further here, but this is a good safe distance, about 2 car lengths before the 4. You can go later and brake harder, but there's been so many times where I've overshot it doing that, so I feel like this is a good good threshold. So we're 60, 70, down to shifting down to third immediately. So bam. Second gear before just as we're passing the 2 marker. Still holding the brake, peak brake pressure. Then just as I'm ready to turn in, I drop it down. Last little bit here, 7% to help rotate. And then we're throttling through the apex with just a little bit of throttle. Because you'll notice here, you can't get on the throttle. You have to be very patient with the throttle. So I've noticed by carrying just tiny bits of throttle through each of the apexes has really helped me to keep my speed up. So 48 minimum speed, second gear. And then here, just as you come over this crest, if you hold 100% throttle, the wheels spin and you lose time. So what I do here is rather than taking it in second and having the wheel spin, if you shift into third before you make this crest, it will prevent the wheels from spinning. You won't have to worry about it. So I've seen some people take it in second and lift off the throttle. I just found it's better to go to third, and then I'll have that extra engine braking as I shift down to second for the next turn. This right here, about a car length before this into this concrete, is my braking marker. Up to 60%, immediately shifting down to second. Then up to a little more there, up to 70. And I'm trailing off as I'm ready to make my turn in, down to 18, and then all the way down. And then again, before the apex, we're at about 30% throttle, second gear. Up to 100 here immediately, as soon as you can, because it's going to help you get that extra little bit of speed before you go through this section. Again, not much here in the way of brake markers. I guess you could say about the 5th dash from this one here, from this crosswalk. Just a quick stab, 25%. And you can see there, I trailed it off and held 10% for just a split second, just to help rotate and keep me off that wall. And again, we're carrying throttle through the apex. 30% again. This is an easy place to spin the car out, so you have to be really careful. You may be tempted to go up to 100% throttle through here, but that's not going to do it. I vary from 50 to 75% usually. And then here you can see the wall flattens out, and then it's gonna, so you're making the turn, you've got this flat, and then this is where I lift to finish making my turn in. So you see there, down, and then immediately right back on, up to 30, up to 50, and then another lift about a car length before the end of the Xfinity sign is going to help me make this corner. Just a brief lift. You can see just down to 20%, 15%, and then I'm right back on it. And then once I'm straight, this is a really delicate balance here of getting on throttle and not coming out wide and hitting the wall. So you just have to find what works for you. But you can see there, I mean, we're very close to coming out to the wall and being out of control. And then just as I get to the wall, one more little stab on the throttle, braking up to 60%. Brake markers about halfway down this banner, so about here. I guess you could say, well, those flags aren't even there. I guess you could say about the fifth one of these banners. Keeping it in second, braking up to 60%. Trail it off as you're ready to turn in, down to 30, down to 8, and then coming out of 30% throttle just like we've been doing. Being patient on the throttle. You got another crest here coming across this, so rather than shifting this time, I'm gonna lift to keep from spinning the tires. And then just as you make it over that, just as you go from the crest down, you're going downhill into compression, which gives you more grip. That's when I start to get back on the throttle. So you can see we'll crest the hill and lift. And then once we make it, we're back up to 100. These are my brake markers for turn 12. Braking up to 60%. Second gear down to 7. Picking up the throttle before the apex again, up to about 30%. Little wheel spin there. That's going to bring us across the line at 128.822. So now I'll let the lap play out. Alright, there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. If this helps, just all I ask is quick like and subscribe goes a long ways. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.